Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how I would go about customizing my course after I've copied that template over so that I can make sure that I'm ready to go for my first day with my kiddos. So I'm going to click on my course right over here. Now you can see this is my just freshly copied over from the template course. I haven't made any changes. Everything is exactly as it is when I initially copy it. The first thing I'm going to want to do is actually change that title and description in this first piece up here. So I'm going to click Edit, and I am going to actually put my course title. So I'm going to say example course title. This is, again, whatever I want students to see, however, this is going to be identifiable for them. Then underneath my description, I am going to take out what's already written here, and I'm instead going to say a description of the course. Now, you don't have to have this if you don't want to. This could be a space that you take out entirely. This could be a space where you say like, oh, this is how I'm actually going to be setting this up. Whatever works best for you is just fine. Then I'm also going to go down to the bottom of my page here, and I want to fill in the information about me so that I'm not just little blank avatar person over here. So I'm going to write in my name, and I'm going to write in my email. Then for my image, I'm going to go ahead and delete this one that's here. And when I go over to insert, when I click on image, I'll see some options. Now you can upload a fresh one if you've got one on your computer. If you've uploaded a previous image in your course, you can find them here. I actually have one in user images I like to use, so I'm just going to go into user images, and I'm just going to use my little Bitmoji avatar right here. Now right away I'm like, whoa, that's really big. It's way too close on my face. And I'm just going to resize it over here. There we go. All right. So these are those first couple of steps I'm going to take. I'm going to go ahead and save them so that they don't disappear on me. Then I'm going to go over to my announcements because I have a lovely announcement here, but this is for teachers and staff. This isn't going to help my students get set up. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this announcement. And I'm going to add in a new announcement for something that my students can see. This is my really welcoming, personalized message for my students, right? It's something that I want them to see when they first start coming onto the page. It might be instructions about where they can find different things. It might be just a general welcome message, or maybe I might choose to not start with an announcement at all. Either way, I'm making sure that I take out that previous announcement and customize it to my own liking. If I really want to get super personalized with it, I also could specify which sections I want to post it to. So for example, I could be like, welcome to first period, and then only post it to the section for first period and repeat that process for each of them. All right. I'm also going to allow users to like this because I really love to get that affirmation. And then I'm going to save. Okay. When I go back to my homepage, I also am going to want to change the link over here on my class resources. Right now, it takes me to these resources for us as staff. These are awesome. I'm going to want to make sure that I have looked at these and know other ways of getting back to them, but they're not what I want to actually show my students. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is make sure I have a new page for them. I'm going to go ahead and click on my pages for this. View all pages. And then I'm going to click on page. In my example resources here, I'm gonna like think of a list of different things I might want to make sure students know for my class. So for example, I might be like, okay, here's how to check out books from KCLS, right? I'm brainstorming a couple of ideas, and what I'm going to be able to do is go back in later and actually describe and link those resources for them on this page so that whenever they're looking for something, I'll be able to just be like, go click on that resource page from that homepage. And I'm just giving it this fun, really, again, super specific title right there. And I am going to save and publish this. Now you might be wondering, wait, but this doesn't change what's linked on my homepage. You are correct. I'm going to go back to this page and I'm going to click edit. From here on class resources, I'm going to say remove link. Then I'm going to click this link button again and say course link. And I can even look directly in my pages. Sometimes, especially if you don't have a ton in there, it'll be right near the top. But if I'm stressed trying to dig through those, I can also just type it in. And I'll see right here, resources for my students, example. Now it's actually updated this page for me. So the link will take them to that whole new page. And then I'm going to save it. Now, the only other option that you could do if you didn't want to play with that link at all is when you went to that initial page, so I'll take you back to it since it's still on here. Here we go. When I'm looking at my page that has my class resources on it, I could just make the edits directly on here and change these things so that I wouldn't change the link at all. I would just change this. So that is another option for how you could complete that. All right, I'm going to go back to my home page. So the next thing I'm going to want to make sure I really is like customized for my own course is my modules, because this is where we're going to be storing and showing a lot of things for students. As you can see, there's some modules in here already. Down at the bottom, there's an example of how a unit-based module could look. So if you were like, oh, this is basically just kind of like storing things for each unit, this is probably not going to be a daily resource. This would be maybe more what you might want to use. There's also an example of some weekly modules and what they might look like as well. You could also convert those into daily modules. If you take a look through these, you'll see examples of what these things could look like. Again, these are just options for you. You can use those modules however feels most comfortable for you. The big thing that we find is helpful is just making sure they have that descriptive information, like the week, a title, and an overview. And then up here, there's that information about getting started, as well as information from the teacher. Now, here's the thing. For me, I'm like, this is great. I'm definitely going to want to make sure I look through these things, but I don't want them to be on here for my students. If I don't want to like worry about having to try and find them again, I can always just make them smaller so I'm not seeing them a ton, and then just make sure I don't publish them. Students won't see them if they're not published. The same could be true for all of these other things as well. So let's say I'm like, oh, I don't want to get rid of getting started in this course either. I want to be able to look back at it. But let's say I am like, oh, I'm definitely not going to be using this unit option. I don't want to have that in here. I'm going to go ahead and click on these three dots and delete it. I'm also going to get rid of my second week here. And I'm going to start right in with adding information on my weekly one. Maybe I want to keep this one as sort of like a template for each week, if that's something I like. I could always unpublish this, and then for each week, I actually would be able to duplicate that whole module in order to reset things in it. Whatever works best for me, I'm going to want to make sure I get that customized here. If I'm totally unsure of this right now, what I would recommend doing is just unpublishing all of them so that you can come back and take a look at it later and it won't be anything that you have to worry about. When I go back to my homepage, there's going to be one final big thing I need to make sure I take care of, and it can be a little bit of a lift. I need to actually change this recent assignments area to reflect my own past work list. So the very first thing I'm going to do is click on this link right here where it says access the past assignments template here. Right away when I click on this, it's going to prompt me to make my own copy of this. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And on this page, you can actually see some instructions for how to use this template. So there are some ideas for how to set it up. For example, you will be able to see a way in which you're like wanting to put the most recent ones at the top instead of going like from top to bottom so that there isn't as much scrolling. What I'm going to do is, again, you know, I know that I can see this information. This is already here. I have this copy of this. I'm going to get rid of these things. And I'm then going to put this in here. I'm going to have my like assignment number 1. Maybe I don't want them to see anything else right now, so I'm going to go ahead and clear this out. So here we go. I'm like, cool, assignment number 1. I'm going to rename this. So this is my example. Beautiful. Now, how do I get it on my Canvas page? The first thing I'm going to do is come over here to File and then Publish to the Web. You're going to want to go over to this Embed option and then click Publish. You'll say, okay, I want to publish this. Now I have a code here that I'm going to be able to actually use to embed this. Now, in order to have a place to put this code, I need to get rid of what's already here. So I'm going to go up to this edit area. And I'm going to go ahead and delete these. Sometimes it likes to, there we go. Okay, so these are all deleted. I've just got this space right here. What I'm going to do is say Insert, Embed. Now I'm going to go over to my published page over here, and I'm going to copy that embed code. I'm going to come back here and make sure it's right here. Now, I'm going to do something while it's already in this code form right here, so I don't have to go back and forth to make my life a little easier. Right here where it says embedded equals true and then a quotation mark, without adding any spaces or anything else, I'm just going to write the word width equals 100%. Then I'll say submit. What this does is it puts the width of this at the like the full width of the page in here. Otherwise, for some reason, it makes it really small. This will make it so that students will be able to quickly see their recent assignments right up here. There's a couple other ways to do this. As you can see, it's also quite short. Right now, I kind of like it this way because I'm like, I don't want this to take up a bunch of space. I want them to just see this most recent assignment. There's not a ton on here in the first place right now. However, if that changes, you'll be able to see in our guide different ways of formatting this so that students can see more or less of that page at any given time. Now that I have this in here, I'm going to click Save again, and I've covered the basics of starting to customize my page. I hope you found this helpful. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Good luck.